If you are summoning for LR TEQ Jiren, you have to watch this entire video because I'm going to be giving you the key, the secrets to unlock this man's full power. Shout out to SeriesWhere, alright? To unlock this man's full potential. Big boy Jiren is about to look like the best unit in your box if you stay and watch this whole video, because I'm going to be dropping a bunch of math, but simple math so you can follow, a bunch of numbers, and a bunch of important things that you have to keep into consideration when running this LR TEQ Jiren. Even if you don't have them, make sure to watch, because when you do get LR TEQ Jiren, which you eventually will, this knowledge will definitely come in handy. So let's hop in. Remember, I'm going to take it as slow as I can. I talk very fast, but I'm going to take it as slow as I can so you guys can soak up all this information, because this is very, very, very important. Let's hop into this. So, LR TEQ Jiren, on his own team, he's giving himself attack and defense plus 170%, which is very good. You want to run him on his own team. He gives himself attack and defense plus 200%, and he builds ki from his passive up to 5. The reason why this is important is because now we know we can bring a support type unit who isn't ki intensive. He doesn't give too much ki, and that's perfectly okay because he builds up ki from his passive. So we don't need a support type unit that gives 3, 4, 5 ki, okay? Which allows us to bring more support type units, because not every support type unit gives ki. Now, attacks effective against all types when the target enemy is in attack down or defensive down status. So what this means is that we have to have a support type unit who lowers attack or defense or both to allow Jiren to be effective against all types, basically completely disrespecting type disadvantage, okay? And then performs a critical hit when the target enemy is stunned. So again, we need a support type unit that can stun an enemy or all enemies. Now, I know what you're asking. Yo, Mr. Baby, but Jiren lowers defense on his 12 and 18 ki. Why do we need a support type unit? Well, let me tell you. LR Jiren, yes, he might lower the enemy's attack and defense, but that's after he already super attacks, which means before then, he won't be effective against all types. So you have to hope that he gets an additional to be effective against all types, since he will lower the defense after he super attacks. But if you have a unit on rotation that's already lowering defense, by the time he super attacks his first time, he'll already be effective against all types. So hopefully that makes sense. Active skill. Attack and defense plus 30%, all enemies attack and defense minus 30%, and stuns all enemies for 1 turn. This is going to play a big factor in this video a little bit later, so just stay tuned, okay? Now, there are 2 big units who can support this topo, but I'm going to be showing you the absolute best one that you have to be using. The 2 units are SDR topo and the intelligence pride troopers that comes alongside TEQ LR Jiren. The best one you want to use is SDR topo, and here's why. This guy lowers attack and defense on super attack, which is very good. That actually allows Jiren, right, to be effective against all types. However, SDR topo reduces all enemies defense minus 70% on his passive skill, which means just for existing on rotation, all enemies have their defense lowered, which again will activate Jiren's passive to be effective against all types. So you don't even have to super attack. You just have to exist. That's why SDR topo is better. Also, this guy gives ki 3 and attack and defense plus 30%, which is very strong, especially for someone like TEQ LR Jiren. Whereas this guy, after his EZA, gives attack and defense plus 40%, but 2 less ki. Which again, remember, like I said, he builds ki from his passive. So you don't really have to worry about support type units who can give ki. Obviously, the more ki, the better, but I'm about to explain why this 1 ki is definitely okay. But again, attack and defense plus 40% instead of attack and defense plus 30% from this Pride Troopers unit is going to make this LR Jiren hit a lot stronger. Alright, let's continue moving on. His links: Supreme Warrior, Shocking Speed, Godly Power, Tournament Power, and Fierce Battle is what this guy shares with LR TEQ Jiren. What does this mean? I already did the math, okay? SDR Topo, just from links, shares 7 ki, attack plus 52%, and defense plus 12% with a 5% chance to crit. Supreme Warrior. You can pause the video and add it up if you want. Supreme Warrior, Shocking Speed, Godly Power, Tornado Power, and Fierce Paddle. So, on top of giving Jiren attack and defense plus 40%, on top of allowing him to be effective against all types, he is giving 7 key, attack plus 52%, and defense plus 12%, just for linking up with Jiren with an extra 5% chance to crit. And you want this Jiren to crit, right? But here's something else that Topo does that makes Jiren even look better, is give him 30% attack. 30% attack for super attacking. So what does this mean? It means you want STR Topo to be in that very first slot. Now, since he's Easy A, his defense is better. He gives himself 70% defense. He mitigates damage when HP is 70% or less. So this guy is a viable unit to keep in that first slot. He's not going to be taking damage. If he super attacks, he gives Jiren an extra 30% attack, on top of everything else that he does. Now, you want to give this guy additional. Why? Because if this guy gets 2 super attacks, that's 60% attack for TEQ LR Jiren. So let's run a hypothetical. This guy's in the first slot. LR TEQ Jiren is in the second slot. He super attacks twice. That is 60% attack. From the passive, an extra 40% attack and 40% defense with 1 key, and also allowing him to be effective against all types. And then from links, 7 key, 52% attack, and 12% defense with an extra 5% chance to crit. This STR Topo is the best friend. This guy's absolute best friend. Alright, keep that in mind. STR Topo, you want him in the first slot. Now, that makes up 2 of the 3 units we need on rotation. So the last unit you want on rotation is this STR Jiren. Now, hear me out. STR Jiren is okay. He's not the greatest. Alright, he's definitely not the greatest. He couldn't take a lot of damage for sure. But his potential to crit is not the greatest either, but it is super, super, super important. If this guy can stun all enemies. If he can stun all enemies, on top of everything that STR Topo is doing for TEQ Jiren, this guy is going to have guaranteed crit. Guaranteed crit. Alright? I'm saying guaranteed crit. On top of that, Jiren is sharing Infighter, which is an extra 15% attack and all enemies defense minus 15%. You're saying, yo, Mr. Baby, why is this important? Just from having this Infighter link, they're lowering enemies attack and defense. So, you already had this guy on rotation who's lowering all enemies defense, but let's say you didn't have him on rotation, just from this Jiren sharing Infighter, right, with LR TEQ Jiren, defense is being lowered from all enemies. So remember, in this rotation, Topo, lowering defense minus 70%. When Jiren has Infighter active from the STR Jiren, an extra defense minus 50% for all enemies. So that means all enemies right now have their defense lowered by 85%. That means every single unit on this rotation is going to be bodying every single enemy because no one has defense. No one has defense. Not only that, but TEQ Jiren is going to be critting as well. Now, here's like the cream of the crop, right? Or if that's, I don't even know if that's how you say it, but whatever. If you can get this rotation of STR Topo, LR TEQ Jiren, and STR Jiren, just like that, and you're able to activate this guy's passive skill, you get an additional attack and defense minus 30%. That's on top of everything, which means his attack and defense is just going through the roof, right? All enemies, attack and defense minus 30%, which means, now, right, all enemies are not going to be hitting as hard, right? Their damage has been cut by 30%. Their defense, which has already been cut by 85%, is completely gone, right? Their defense is now lowered by more than 100%, which basically means they have no defense. If mathematically, like, that makes sense, right? You can't have 100%, like, you have no defense. There's just no defense existing, right? So the units have no defense. And then this guy's going to be critting. Imagine the power of this LR TEQ Jiren with all units stunned. This guy critting, being effective against all types on top of that, which is a damage multiplier. Getting literally more than like 60% attack from links. An extra 40% attack just from the support type unit. An extra 60% attack from 2 super attacks from STR Topo. Like, this is not a game anymore. This is not a game. LR TEQ Jiren is here. And he is here to prove his dominance amongst every single unit in the game. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new. And I will definitely see you in the next one. Peace.